Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Fred Meyer. This is another in a series of talks about Buddhist enlightenment. This is also the last in a series of discussions about stages in the path to enlightenment, or stages on the path to enlightenment. To bring you up to date, we have talked about egolessness of self, egolessness of other, seeing that they're the same through non-duality, which then takes us to emptiness, and then how we evolve from our attention being mainly on emptiness to form, and how form becomes more vivid through heightened awareness, and how in the presence of that heightened awareness, sights, sounds, smells, whatever in our environment is in our environment can continually connect us with the true nature of mind. At this point, we are realized. When we experienced emptiness, we are then considered to be realized. But we are still not enlightened at this point. In order to become enlightened, we are going to have to be realized always. Our mind will have to be such that it never leaves the realization that we've discussed. When we are realized day and night, 24 hours a day, we will then be enlightened. Our mind will never leave realization. This is quite a tall order because of the problems that we face at the very first day that we sit in meditation, which is that there are intrusions into our meditation. Thoughts and emotions will come and capture our attention and take us away, and the same thing is true in realization. I mean, you can be a fully realized person, and a thought can come along, or emotion can come along and take you out of realization and get you caught up in that, whatever has occurred. So we're going to have to find a way to deal with those occurrences of mind. And also at this level, things like dreams and so forth that can take us from the luminous aspect of mind while we're sleeping. And there are practices, dream yoga and so forth, to help you with that, to keep you in the luminous nature of mind while you sleep. So fortunately, the occurrences of mind, once you've seen emptiness, okay, the occurrences of mind are also seen to be empty. So if we can see the occurrences of mind, which is not easy, I mean, things happen very fast in our mind. There's a reason why they say things are quick as thought. It happens very quickly, thoughts do. Emotions can happen very quickly. With dreams, we're basically helpless. There's not even a way we can help ourselves when we're sleeping. So, but if we can see those things as they occur, they are enlightenment. They are realization on the spot because they're empty. At this point, everything is empty, including form. As the Heart Sutra says, form is emptiness. Form is emptiness. It is empty at this stage. So everything is emptiness. The trick is to see everything that's occurring in our mind, to see if it's empty. And if we can, then everything will be enlightened. Then we will be enlightened at that point. That is the point of enlightenment. When we reach this point of enlightenment, a natural development from that is complete and utter, uncontrived compassion. And the reason why this compassion arises is, first of all, what we are experiencing is so wonderful that we naturally would like to share it with others. Our heart goes out to others for them to be able to share what we are experiencing, the uh, the incredible nature of enlightenment. Maybe I shouldn't use the word incredible. Let's just say the bliss, the joy associated with it. So that's part of this compassion. Another part of this compassion is our heightened awareness at this point, how clearly we see things. Our baseline in life now is emptiness, and that emptiness is still. The true nature of mind is still. There are occurrences in mind, okay, but the basic nature of mind is still, and it's vast, and it's quiet. That mind is also silent, which doesn't mean that things, sounds don't occur and all that. I'm talking about the basic nature of mind is like that. So that's our baseline, and we have this very sharp awareness that goes along with it. So anything that departs from that baseline of empty awareness that we now are, we see very sharply, immediately. It's quite vivid. And the sort of things I'm talking about is if another person is having pain about something, maybe they have guilt, or they're insecure about something, or they have a moment of confusion. Um, Something happens and you can see them, like I always think about children and things like that. Children, they don't have all this hard carapace, this lobster covering that we have as adults, and things really impact on them, and they don't have the wherewithal to deal with it. They haven't hardened like we have. And like you'll see a child and maybe something happens, maybe some kind of aggression, or their parents, somebody says something to them, and you see that confusion register on them. You see it in their eyes. Well, anyhow, that's what you see with this baseline of compassion, of this baseline of emptiness and awareness. You see pain very vividly, and your heart just goes out naturally in an uncontrived way. So that's another aspect of this level of enlightenment, being at this level. And in association with this, this this is a little bit of razzle-dazzle here, but I have to tell you about it because it actually does exist, and it's called Siddhi. It's spelled S-I-D-D-H-I. Siddhi is magic. That's the way you can define it in English. It's magic, and at this level, at the level of enlightenment, there are cities, and the two cities that they're divided into relative city and absolute city. Relative city is sort of an ability of, at this point, no one is trying to adjust anything. I mean, at this point, one is just there. But with this mind, the world begins to adjust itself in favorable ways, both for you. There's no you at this point, but as I say, dualism is a real problem, and for others as well, just naturally. That's relative city. Absolute city is enlightenment, and so at this point, you're experiencing absolute city as well. I remember a beautiful aphorism that I heard 2 or 3 years ago about this. With relative city, we control the world. With absolute city, the world no longer controls us. initially you might think, oh man, it would be really cool to control the world, but it's actually much more potent for the world no longer to control us, including death. Nothing any longer can make any impact on this mind of enlightenment that we have. So that gives you a sense of relative and absolute city that goes along with enlightenment. So at this point, prose becomes somewhat humdrum, and we're going to have to enter the world of enlightenment and the world of enlightened poetry. And of the many, many great, highly realized, enlightened people that I could read to you, the one I'm going to read is a teacher of a 19th century teacher, Tibetan Buddhist Vajrayana teacher, Lodro Tayé. Very great man. He was responsible for the Rime movement, which sort of brought all of Buddhism together in Tibet. I mean, he was incredibly learned and incredibly realized. And so I'm going to end this series of talks on the stages of enlightenment with a part of a poem that he wrote. It's called the Song of Lodro Tayé. It's in the Rain of Wisdom. You know, rain like coming out of the sky. Rain of Wisdom. If you're interested in enlightenment, I highly suggest this book. It's quite wonderful. So here's the poem. This is at the end. It's a very long poem. This is at the end of it. Since in the view of Mahamudra, think of Mahamudra as enlightenment. Since in the view of Mahamudra, analysis does not apply, cast mind-made knowledge far away. Since in the meditation of Mahamudra, there is no way of fixating on a thought, abandon deliberate meditation. Since in the action of Mahamudra, there is no reference point for any action, be free from the intention to act or not. Since in the fruition of Mahamudra, there is no attainment to newly acquire, cast hopes, fears, and desires far away. And so I will end this stages of enlightenment with that last line in mind. Since in the fruition of Mahamudra there is no attainment to newly acquire, cast hopes, fears, and desires far away. Which is saying, we already are enlightened. We don't have to do enlightenment. We just have to see what we are. And when we begin to see that, we will go most likely through these stages that I have just discussed. So thank you so much for listening. And I, as always, truly hope that these few comments are of help to you.